Mother? What are you doing here?
I came to see you, son.
Do you know who is inside? My investors. I am trying to salvage my own reputation. You show up looking like a homeless person. The press will ruin me.
Julian, please. The bank took everything. I have nowhere to go. I just need a small room and a warm meal.
I can't risk it. You made the mess, you deal with it. Go to Victoria's. She has a bigger guest house.
In a room full of chaos, the only thing that truly mattered was a quiet moment of loyalty. Welcome back to Avara Stories. Let's get right into today's story.
To the world, Mrs. Beatrice was a titan. She built a real estate empire from nothing, amassing a fortune that could sustain her family for generations. But as the winter of her life approached, her greatest sorrow wasn't her falling health. It was the heart of the children she had raised. Her first son, Julian, cared only for stock portfolios and power. Her daughter, Victoria, measured human worth entirely by designer labels. And then there was Amara, her youngest. Amara had married for love, choosing a kind, hardworking school teacher. Because she didn't chase wealth, her siblings viewed her as the family failure. Mrs. Beatrice walked into the room carefully, leaning on a cane. At the table, her children barely acknowledged her. Julian didn't even look up from his papers. Victoria just rolled her eyes in annoyance. Only Amara stood up immediately, walking over to gently help her mother into her armchair. Julian, without wasting no time, "Mother, we need to talk about the estate management," he said with a scoff. "You are getting older and leaving things undecided is bad for business." "Exactly," Victoria added. "I've already picked out a luxurious retirement villa for you in Europe. It's time to hand over the reins." Mrs. Beatrice looked at them, her deep eyes observant. She saw right through their greed and fake concern. Then she looked down at Amara, who was simply holding her hand, completely quiet and unconcerned about the money.
A person's true wealth is not held in a bank, my children. It is held in the hearts of those who love them. I will make my decision soon.
2 months later, everything went down the hill fast. A major legal scandal and a sudden stock market crash completely wiped out the Beatrice family fortune. Headlines everywhere screamed, "Beatrice empire collapses, global assets frozen, and a real estate titan bankrupt." The bank took it all: the mansion, the luxury cars, and the bank accounts. Just like that, they were broke. One day, on a rainy night, a yellow taxi pulled up outside Julian's fancy modern penthouse. An elderly woman stepped out, and it was Mrs. Beatrice. But she looked completely different now. She wore a faded grey coat, a cheap headscarf, and carried just one beat-up old suitcase. She looked exhausted and deeply sad. Julian opened his door, but when he saw his mother looked like a beggar, his face twisted in disgust. He wouldn't even let her step inside. "Mother," Julian whispered angrily, "What are you doing here? I have investors inside. I'm trying to save my own reputation, and you showed up looking homeless. The press will ruin me." "Julian, please," Mrs. Beatrice begged, her voice shaking. "The bank took everything. I have nowhere else to go. I just need a small room and a hot meal. I can't risk it all," Julian said coldly. "You made this mess. You deal with it. Go to Victoria's house. She had more space." He slammed the door right in her face. Mrs. Beatrice was left standing alone in the rain, a single tear running down her cheek. Mrs. Beatrice arrived at Victoria's suburban mansion. Inside, the lights were bright and music was playing. Mrs. Beatrice stood on the porch, completely soaked from the rain. Victoria opened the door, holding a glass of champagne. She gasped and jumped back to shield her dress. "Oh my God, Mother," Victoria yelled. "You are dripping water all over my imported marble floor. What is wrong with you?" "Victoria, my child," Mrs. Beatrice said softly. "Julian turned me away. I'm freezing. I haven't eaten since yesterday. Please, Victoria, I need your help." Victoria looked back at her wealthy friends laughing inside, then looked at her mother with total embarrassment and annoyance. "Are you serious right now?" Victoria said. "You lost the family fortune and now you want to come live off me? I have a reputation to keep up, mother. If my friends see you like this, I will be the laughingstock of the country. I don't have space for baggage right now. Call social services or something." Victoria pushed the door shut and the loud click of the lock echoed in the quiet night. The very children she had given everything to, the ones she had clothed in silk and fed with silver spoons, looked at her poverty like it was a disease. To them, without her money, she was absolutely nothing. In a small humble apartment on the outskirts of the city, the paint on the walls is slightly peeling and the furniture is old, but everything is very clean. In the corner, a small heater hums softly. Amara and her husband are sitting at the wooden table, counting out crumpled bills and looking stressed about making their rent. Suddenly, there's a soft knock on the door. Amara opens it and gasps, dropping to her knees instantly. "Mama," she cried out. "Oh my God, Mama, what happened to you?" Standing there is Mrs. Beatrice, shivering, soaked in wet and holding her broken suitcase. Amara doesn't care about the mud or the wet clothes. She wraps her arms tightly around her mother and starts to cry. David rushes over right behind her. He takes the heavy suitcase and immediately wraps his own warm jacket around the old woman's shoulder. A few minutes later, Mrs. Beatrice is sitting comfortably by the heater, wrapped in a thick fuzzy blanket. Amara gently dries her mother's hair with a towel, while David is in the small kitchen, stirring a pot of simple vegetable soup. Mrs. Beatrice looks down sadly. "Amara, David, I am so sorry," she says. "You must have heard the news. I am completely bankrupt. I have nothing left to give you. I am just a burden." Amara stops and takes her mother's hand, looking directly in her eyes. "Mama, look at me. You are our mother. You gave me life. You gave me love. You could never be a burden. We don't care about the money. As long as we have a roof over our heads and bread to share, you will always have a home here." David walked over and set down a bowl of hot soup and a few thick crusts of bread, the very last of their food. He smiled warmly and said, "It's not a palace, mother, but it's filled with love. Eat, please." For 3 days, Mrs. Beatrice stayed in the tiny apartment. She watched as Amara skipped her own meals so her mother could eat more. She watched as David walked all the way to work in the freezing cold just to save bus fare to buy her medicine. In the midst of this scarcity, she found the richest love on earth. 2 days later, Amara woke up to a strange sound outside. Looking through the tiny apartment window, she saw flashing blue and gold lights reflecting off the walls. Amara and David looked out onto the street and gasped. The entire road was lined with a black vehicle. Security details in sharp suits stood guard, while neighbors stared in absolute shock. Just then, the bedroom door opened. Mrs. Beatrice stepped out. She was no longer wearing the faded rags. Instead, she was dressed in an immaculate royal blue suit and a stunning pearl necklace. Her posture was straight and regal. Behind her stood a man in sharp suit, holding a leather briefcase, the top corporate lawyer in the country. Mama," Amara stammered. "What's going on?" "The bankruptcy." Mrs. Beatrice smiled with deep warmth and authority. The bankruptcy was a shadow, my darling, a test. My empire is perfectly intact, but I needed to know which of my children loved their mother and which of them merely loved my wallet. The next morning, a thick, expensive envelope arrived at Julian's and Victoria's door. Inside was a formal urgent invitation from the corporate headquarters of the Beatrice Corporation. No explanation were given. They only knew they were required to attend a mandatory meeting at noon. Julian spent the entire morning pacing, convinced the lawyer were finally dividing what was left of their mother's collapsed estate. Victoria arrived at the high-rise building an hour early, her mind already racing with plans to secure whatever scraps of property she could clutch for herself. By midday, Julian and Victoria sat side by side at the massive mahogany table in the grand boardroom. They looked like two vultures waiting to pick a carcass clean, completely assuming this meeting was called to officially sign over the remaining assets. They traded smug, arrogant smiles, confident that they were finally getting their hands on the inheritance. Then the heavy double door were violently thrown open. Mrs. Beatrice strode into the room, flanked by an army of security guards. Julian and Victoria's jaws hit the floor, their smug smiles instantly evaporating, but the real shockwave hit when Amara and David walked in right behind her, dressed in breathtaking elegance, looking calm and dignified. Julian erupted from his chair, his voice cracking with pure panic. "Mother, you are ruined. You are broke. What the hell is the meaning of this? And why are they here?" Mrs. Beatrice slammed her cane against the marble floor. The sand cracked through the room like a gunshot. "Silence!" Her voice cut like ice. "When I knocked on your door, freezing and starving, Julian, you protected your precious reputation and slammed it in my face. When I begged you for shelter, Victoria, you protected your shallow vanity and threw me out like garbage. You both looked at my poverty and saw a disease. You failed the simple test of human decency." The lawyer stepped forward in absolute silence, unzipping his leather briefcase with deliberate slowness. He slid a gold-embossed document across the table, placing it directly in front of Amara. Mrs. Beatrice's voice echoed with absolute finality. "Therefore, as of this exact hour, I legally stripped you both of everything. 100% of the Beatrice Trust, the real estate empire, and all global assets are hereby transferred to Amara and David. They are now the sole rulers of this empire." Julian clutched his head as his word imploded, his eyes widening with pure terror and financial ruin. Across the table, Victoria began to scream silently, hot tears of absolute rage and humiliation carving paths through her expensive makeup. They were entirely, permanently cut off. Mrs. Beatrice turned her back on the chaos. She reached out to take Amara's trembling hand, replicating the exact warmth her daughter had shown her in the tiny kitchen days before. "You shared your very last crust of bread with a beggar, Amara," Mrs. Beatrice said, her own voice now a warm, powerful promise. "Now you shall inherit the kingdom, because a heart that knows how to love in scarcity is the only heart worthy of managing abundance." Together, Amara, David, and Mrs. Beatrice turned away. They stepped out of the boardroom and into the bright golden light of the grand hallway, leaving the greedy sibling trapped in the dark, utterly broken, completely forgotten, and ruined by their own greediness. Okay guys, I think we've come to the end of this story, and I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, share, and click on the notification button for more of my videos. Bye bye.